Living alone, for the first time, I've always felt something was off about my landlord. He's in his late 40s and has never hesitated to make comments about my appearance. When I moved in, he was very firm about not touching the two fire alarms, one in my bedroom and one in the hallway. He said they were directly connected to the fire department and that tampering with them would trigger an alarm. Still, the alarm in my bedroom has always made me uncomfortable. It makes strange noises at night, almost like a remote-controlled car, and sometimes produces a faint beeping sound. I mentioned it to him once, and he brushed it off, saying it was nothing, and told me to call the fire department if it became a real issue. But other things started to happen, and my discomfort kept growing. People told me I was probably just anxious, since it was my first time living alone, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The first odd thing happened while I was repainting before moving in. I accidentally bought the wrong shade of paint for my bedroom, and it turned out much brighter than I wanted. A few days later, during a phone call, my landlord snapped at my parents about the horrible pink I was using in my room, even though I had never let him inside. I brushed it off, assuming he might have seen paint on my clothes or something similar. Then things escalated. In January of last year, I spent a day at my parents' house. When I returned, something felt off. I couldn't figure out what it was at first, but later noticed one of the drawers under my bed was pulled open. I didn't remember touching it. My parents told me I probably just forgot, and I felt embarrassed for even bringing it up. Months later, during the summer, I was gaming late on a friend's Discord server. Around 4 a.m., when I went to bed, I found my underwear drawer open. I panicked and called my mom. She lives nearby, because I wasn't sure if someone was still inside. After that, I installed a door chain and a small home alarm. I started suspecting my landlord might have a second key, but could no longer get inside easily. Still, whenever I returned home, I sometimes noticed that furniture in my bedroom was slightly moved. My family told me I was probably just forgetting again, so I stopped mentioning it. I know it sounds paranoid, but is it possible there are cameras hidden in the fire alarms? Could I call the fire department's non-emergency number to ask them to check because of the strange noises? I just want peace of mind. The thought that someone might have been inside while I was sleeping terrifies me. I didn't expect this much attention, but thank you. To answer some questions, my parents fully support me. I just updated my mom, and she's very upset. My landlord lives in another city, but owns several apartments here. He visits multiple times a week. I live in Germany, so US laws don't apply. My plan is to call the fire department tomorrow morning and have a family friend change my locks on Monday. I'd like to check the alarms myself, but I'm not tall and don't have a ladder. I appreciate everyone's kind messages. I'll keep you updated. Good morning, and thank you to everyone who has reached out. Today's been stressful, but here's what happened. I called the fire department. They told me the alarms aren't connected to them at all and found it suspicious that the one tampered with was the one in my bedroom. I also realized I have a storage room with an identical alarm. They advised me to find someone who knows about electrical systems to take it down and inspect it, as foul play seems likely. My mom's best friend is an electrician, and I've asked him to come by as soon as possible. If he can't make it today, he'll be here Monday. Until then, I'll wait. I was also advised not to remove the alarm myself in case there's something illegal about it. If I feel unsafe, I can stay with my parents or sister. Just to clarify why I haven't removed it, it technically belongs to my landlord. If I take it down and it turns out to be installed incorrectly, both he and I could get into legal trouble. I'd also have to pay for a replacement and professional installation, which I can't afford right now. Nothing strange has happened since. A neighbor and I talked recently about home safety, and without knowing any of this, she casually said, "You should change your locks." It struck me as oddly specific, even though she didn't know my situation. Sorry for the late update. Today has been stressful. My mom's friend checked the smoke detector, and as far as we know, it's okay now. But other things have come up. I can't share details because there's now an active police investigation. For now, I've taken all possible steps to stay safe. I'm sorry I can't give more closure, but maybe someday I'll be able to share the full story. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to take this seriously and put my safety first. I wish all of you the best. This one ends on a cliffhanger, but it's clear something serious happened, especially with a police investigation involved. Whether or not there really was a camera in the fire alarm, something suspicious was definitely going on. The landlord's warning not to touch the alarms was strange from the start, and our underwear drawer being disturbed multiple times is deeply concerning. Thankfully, she took the right steps, calling authorities, getting the alarms checked, and involving an electrician. If I had to guess, something illegal was happening, possibly involving the landlord, though there's no confirmed answer. A woman buys $1,000 to $7,000 worth of Apple gift cards every week, all in cash. The immediate thought is that she's being scammed, but that might not be the case. She's in her 30s or 40s and seems mentally sound. She's openly discussed gift card scams before and doesn't appear to be a victim. In fact, her attitude makes it seem like she might be doing something shady herself. She comes in weekly, sometimes more often, always paying with fresh $100 bills. She only buys Apple gift cards, usually between $2,000 and $5,000, but sometimes up to $7,000. This takes place in Canada. When asked, she claims it's connected to online gambling and her winnings, but she's also said they were gifts at times. Personally, it seems more likely to be linked to money laundering or tax evasion. Most commenters think she's being scammed. Next time she comes in, we'll talk with her again and ask for proof of her gambling explanation. My manager and I might stop her from purchasing more until she provides evidence. Her demeanor is worth noting. She's polite and professional, but uninterested in small talk. Her body language is calm, not anxious. She only shows mild irritation when there's a delay. When we discussed scams before, she seemed indifferent, not nervous or defensive. The cash is always legitimate, and she's been coming regularly since December. Honestly, I partly believe her, but another theory seems likely. She might be a victim of an online romance scam. Scammers often convince victims to buy gift cards to send money under false pretenses, for travel, emergencies, or investments. Still, the consistency and amount are strange. Thousands every week suggests something bigger, possibly laundering or a coordinated scam. Either way, it's suspicious. Housemate possibly missing. Someone posted that their housemate hadn't replied to messages about feeding the cats. Her car was home, but her cigarettes and phone were gone. She wasn't answering calls and wasn't in the house. This was unusual for her, as she was typically reliable and communicative. They weren't sure how long to wait before reporting her missing. After waking up and checking again, the poster said their housemate was home. She claimed a cousin had picked her up for a family gathering. She seemed a bit off, but safe. The poster thanked those who helped. Hidden camera stream. Someone found a live stream showing a camera being used to spy into apartment windows. It appeared on a site called InCam, where the operator was actively zooming in on lit windows, especially focusing on one that seemed to belong to a young woman. The location data pointed to an area near Doylestown, Pennsylvania. But after observing, the poster noticed landmarks, a White Castle, and a Star Care pharmacy, suggesting it was actually in Jamaica, New York. The voyeur was likely filming from a nearby building. They considered warning residents through a neighborhood group, but weren't sure what else to do. It's deeply concerning that someone was using a live stream to spy on people. Thankfully, the poster noticed and investigated. Hopefully, authorities can intervene quickly. It's unsettling to think how easily this kind of invasion of privacy can happen. Would you like me to format this rewritten version into a narrative-style YouTube script, ready for voiceover with pacing cues and tone direction next? That would make it fully production-ready for a story channel. If the original poster doesn't uncover more information, call the police or alert the apartment complex soon. Someone else might need to step in. My friend hasn't been seen in months, and I'm beginning to suspect his girlfriend may be pretending to be him. This is one of my closest childhood friends, but I haven't seen him in about 6 months due to his complete lack of communication. We now live in different states, and since last summer, he hasn't responded to any messages across multiple apps. I assumed he'd just changed his number again, as he often does, and didn't worry much. About a week ago, I was contacted through Facebook by someone claiming to be his girlfriend. A surprise, since I didn't even know they were dating, let alone living together. Her message was vague. She asked me to reach out to him, implying he wasn't doing well mentally. She also shared his new number. When I texted him, my messages didn't deliver. My calls went straight to voicemail and remain unanswered. What's strange is that his girlfriend hasn't responded to any of my follow-up questions since that first message. I spoke to his older sister, who said she'd recently talked to the girlfriend. According to her, my friend isn't speaking to anyone because he lost his job, feels like a failure, and fears rejection. I understand that, but why would his girlfriend ask me to help, then disappear when I try to follow up? Even more concerning, his family hasn't seen or heard from him in over 3 months, since the time he supposedly moved in with her. Then I found something that really unsettled me. I tried adding his new number on Snapchat since I'd sometimes catch him online there. But when I entered it, the account that appeared was clearly his girlfriend's. Her name, her Bitmoji, everything. It's the same handle she uses on Instagram, so I know it's hers. While digging further, I came across a review she left at my friend's former workplace. It accused one of the female employees of being inappropriately touchy with male coworkers. The post was emotional, jealous, and oddly specific, the kind of message you'd expect from someone controlling and manipulative. So now I'm wondering, could there be a harmless explanation for why his supposed phone number links to her Snapchat? No one has seen or spoken to him directly in months. All communication has come through her. At best, it seems she's speaking on his behalf. At worst, she may be pretending to be him. I don't understand why she would do that, but there are too many details that don't make sense. I don't want to waste police resources if my friend is simply depressed and withdrawn, but this situation feels wrong. Thank you to everyone who shared advice. It's been stressful deciding what to do. I managed to get my friend's mailing address from a family member. Coincidentally, one of our mutual friends recently moved back to our hometown and offered to stop by the address tonight to check on him. If he can't reach him or doesn't find him, I'll call in a wellness check tomorrow. Sorry for the delay. I had to take a personal day yesterday and was swamped at work this morning. But here's the update. My friend is alive and safe. He's not missing, being impersonated, or strung out. I don't have all the details yet, or a direct way to contact him, but at least his family and I now understand more about what's been happening. Our mutual friend visited the address unannounced last night. My friend answered the door and seemed genuinely happy to see him. His girlfriend was there too, and according to our friend, she appeared completely normal. She also has a dog and a toddler, both looking healthy. There were no signs of drugs or intoxication. It turns out the phone number belonged to her. My friend simply hadn't been checking his messages, possibly due to depression or general disinterest. He seemed surprised that so many people were worried about him. He said he's lining up a new retail job and plans to get his own phone soon. I'm not sure if he'll actually follow through, but that's out of my control. I still worry that his mental health isn't as stable as he claims. Even if he's naturally withdrawn, cutting off friends and family for months is concerning. But for now, there's little more I can do. At least our mutual friend lives nearby now and can stay in touch. For context, my friend comes from a large, strict religious family. By high school, he was basically on his own and stopped living at home before turning 18 due to family conflict. His parents later moved away and haven't been in close contact since. One family member offered to add him to their phone plan, so situations like this won't happen again. If I hear from him personally, I'll thank everyone for the help. I feel embarrassed that this turned out to be harmless, but I've learned the value of better safe than sorry.